Social media marketing and mobile in specific is a primary platform on which a lot of media are shared. So mobile has been growing at an incredible speed. And even since your marketing text was published, the growth has been incredible globally, not only locally, but globally. So we know that the majority of people on the globe have access to mobile and use mobile. Some of the changes that have occurred include how apps are used in mobile applications. It's really all about the apps. We know that there are more opportunities to use location-based technology, like in retail locations. We know that mobile check-in apps are on the decline, but then most social media platforms have a way of checking in geographically or locationally than before, and that continues to grow. And then, of course, the fact that social platforms are actually growing rather than declining, and activities on them are expanding rather than contracting, really drives the influence of mobile. So therefore, we've gone from mobile being one of those small elements in the media plan to many organizations, like hundreds of thousands of them, having a mobile first strategy, which is critical, right? So Facebook is still the big dog. There is a video, I think it's in this module, that shows how the various platforms have changed in dominance and prominence globally, as well as domestically. But it still seems to be about Facebook, although Instagram and Twitter remain incredibly popular, and there are communications apps that are rising, such as WhatsApp. One of the reasons for this is that smartphones cost less than they used to. Smartphones used to be not quite as smart. It used to cost $1,500 or more dollars. Now you can get them practically free with a short-term contract from almost any provider at worst case, right? And with smartphones, since they're not bound to any platform, it's really up to the owner or user, the customer, to decide what platforms they want to stay connected to. And everyone has a different reason for being connected to different apps and platforms, especially the platforms. So another number that is critical is that desktop and television are in decline, while personal data devices like Apple Watches and things like that, Fitbit, those kinds of small screens, as well as a smartphone, are increasing in use and relevance. Also, we have different services that are also present. So video continues to grow. Remember when video was predicted, and now of course it's all about video. Sure, there's messaging, there's tweeting, there are images. All of these are important. And video is incredible. If you don't believe it, Google how many cat videos are on YouTube. I'll change your mind about video in a second. It's amazing and kind of scary if you want to know the truth. Okay, so this is about mobilizing your personal brand, and yeah, that's optimizing it for mobile. It's called Mobilizing. Not only your personal brand, but think about the branding that you might do for a business or for a campaign for a business. And so when you, like, if you use SurveyMonkey to do a survey, you'll note that it shows you what your survey will look like on desktop or laptop, a tablet, or a smartphone, right? It's optimized for mobile, or what we call mobilized. So websites, blogs, all of those communications communication foundations need to be mobilized. The next step is, of course, to provide some variety in branding content. Sometimes it's images, sometimes it's sharing, sometimes it's a quick video. Yes, this is me. We're going there again. We're doing it again. We wrecked our car again. We dropped our ice cream cone again, whatever it is, or sharing or forwarding or commenting or reposting and so on. Remember that sharing and following have kind of a social rule. If somebody follows you and you know them, it's often appropriate to follow them back and vice versa. It's good policy. If you go out and start following about 150 people, they'll probably wonder who you are. But if you are already posting content, they will want to follow you. And so it goes, right? And then, of course, remember to monitor everything. You know, conversations blow up pretty quickly, so monitor like crazy. Now, this discussion about purchases on mobile was written before the excitement of 2020 when the pandemic occurred. So purchases on mobile were already rising very quickly since the book was published in 2017, but it was actually delivered in 2016, your text, that is, textbook. So mobile purchases were growing, and honestly, the desktop has been left behind in the purchasing department for most of America and many other countries. We have the challenge, though, that in the pandemic, we started purchasing a lot more on mobile and having things or groceries or other services and items delivered. Amazon, obviously, it's much easier to purchase on your smartphone this year than it was 2 years ago, even from Amazon, which is the big dog in terms of retail, right? This is an example of purchases. You know, this is in 2016, searches that resulted in purchases, right? Okay, so that issue of purchasing on mobile, if nothing else, mobile social media marketing makes it appropriate to become interested or to winnow down the options when a buyer is attempting to make a decision on what to buy, whether it's a meal, a ride to the concert, or clothing, groceries, paint for the house, whatever you're doing that week, tickets to the game, a ride to the game. So mobile can become influential in helping increase purchasing on mobile, which is tablet and your iPhone or Samsung or whatever you have, your smartphone. So, okay, there are also buy buttons on social networking sites. They're still there. I don't know how well they're doing, but it's based on the premise that if you see it, you want to be able to access it. Usually you can click on these various buttons, and you'll see this also on cable or Discovery or whatever streaming platform you use, where you can buy something that you see and it'll take you to the place where you can purchase that item. Direct purchasing is pretty strong on sites, but we don't know where it'll take us in the future. It's still out there. Other things have become more important. So with your mobile first strategy, keep in mind that you have numerous channels available to the consumer. So the consumer is not just going to go to the, I don't know, the Fleet Feet for athletic footwear website. They may follow them on Instagram. They may follow them on, Red Bull, maybe the extreme sports, their shoes for extreme sports. They may have a presence on Twitter, maybe on LinkedIn, probably on Facebook, but they're everywhere, right? Plus people see the brand, so they walk in, right? Their stores are all over Houston, for example. So it's just good to remember there are so many places, touch points we call them, where a consumer can interact with a brand. And mobile first makes it easy easier for the marketer to target the audience of greatest import, right? And then of course you have the fact that you're using omni-channel or multiple channel marketing is critical to recognize. So everything touches the customer touches everything. For example, in this case though, right, the customer goes to social media to gather information, but social media platforms also have the ability to target messages to that customer. No doubt you have been asked on one of your social media platforms, you've seen ads like you buy something, like you buy a trash can at Bed Bath & Beyond, and all of a sudden everybody wants to sell you trash cans. That's the kind of give and take that occurs. But then the customer can go into the physical store, and yet the physical store can target the customer using a variety of marketing strategies, whether it is direct mail, or perhaps once you get near the store, it tells you that it has something available using Bluetooth beacon. It might say, like Tesco did here, come on in. We're offering this for lunch today. There's only a few of them left. We can get it to you in 10 minutes. You're hungry, you walk in. But it knew you were nearby, and so because you had been to the store before, so it knows you and it can attract you to it. Very much like that movie called Minority Report with Tom Cruise, where he's walking, this is 10 years ago, where he's walking through this huge marketplace and these giant screens are communicating directly to him. They recognize him because he's tagged, right? And so they're offering him very specific marketing messages, even like with his face and showing it with glasses on and stuff like that. So it's very weird, but it is truly something that we can do today. So along with being a mobile marketer, social media marketer, you have the customer experience. So the customer experience includes, it's beyond mobile marketing, it's everything. Customer experience is basically your lifetime relationship that the consumer has with a brand. And the better the relationship, the more times they return to purchase that brand. If you're a Subaru person, you go back over and over again. You get your next Subaru and your next Subaru. And by the time you have adult kids, you'll be buying, or teen kids, you'll be buying them Subarus, because you have a good relationship with it, and it will work to maintain that relationship. So not only is this experience created by everything that the consumer sees and hears about or associated with a brand, whether it's through mobile or on television or in direct mail or somebody wearing a t-shirt with that brand on it, but research is conducted, usually qualitatively, to maintain tabs on customer experience. You can look up CX research and journey mapping to understand more about that. So when we look at best practices for social media mobile marketing, a couple of things to keep in mind. One is that B2B customers, remember, they expect mobile content, but the kind of content they get is very different from what consumers receive, obviously, because B2B is very different. So don't slip into that risky area without knowing that your appeal strategy is going to be very different for business to business customers. And the second one is item number 2, where it discusses, or it suggests that you want to give consumers control of the data that they have shared with your brand. So consumers allow you to save, let's say, their date and a date and month of birth. They may ask for, the brand may ask for, let's say, sizes, and it will remember that you like to wear a medium or a large, and so it'll say it'll suggest that size to you if you're looking at clothes, for example. But when a consumer sees information they didn't realize you had as a brand or a company, they feel violated and they don't like it. So that's one of the reasons there are so many options to opt in, opt out, change how you receive emails. And if you go onto a website, you'll be asked, do you want to save this information? Or may we contact you? do you want to keep this profile you have created? Be aware that consumers, they are pretty open to receive messages, but they don't want to be they don't want to be attacked. They don't want to feel like they're not in control of their lives, that somebody else is teasing them and controlling them with their own data. So it's just one of those things that has been a bit of an issue recently, and it's helping platforms be more careful about how they communicate and what they communicate to consumers. So Chapter 12 has some excellent examples of the benefits and advantages of each of the primary platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and a couple of others. So do look through those. They're in blue. Look through those, and it'll help you as you work on your projects to understand what is available and what is the best use of each of those platforms. So good luck in social media marketing.